Oh, the line has already gone hot. We have the first speaker on this topic. His name is Akim Macauley. Akim is the diaspora representative of the Cameroon film industry. Akim is based in Maryland, and from Maryland, he now joins us on African Cocktail. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Ernest Kanjo.
Akim Macauley, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, now, Akim Macauley, I brought you on the air today because there is a hot topic that popped up this morning, and we think we should discuss it on radio. We are talking about film structures and the film industry. And I realized that every film industry is represented by a structure. I gave an example of Nollywood that represents the Nigerian film industry, and Nigerians have gone to the extent of saying that Nollywood represents Africa. I don't want us to get into that. There is Gollywood that represents Ghana. Now we have CFI and CFI Inc. CFI and CFI Inc. I must precise that represent Cameroon. The first question I'm going to ask Akim, just to learn before we get into other issues. How is a film industry structured?
A film industry is structured depending on what activity that the shareholders or the stakeholders are advocating for. For example, like Actors Guild in America, we actually do not have something like Hollywood is not actually a film. There's nothing like Hollywood, you understand?
Right.
Based on my knowledge, there's nothing like Hollywood. You understand? But I know that there's something like the Actors Guild or something like that. It has its own name that's been called. But there's nothing like Nollywood. But for our own industry in Cameroon, because we are small, we want to come under one body. That's why it was necessary for CFI to emerge. If not, we could only have something like the Actors Guild, which is existing and which is even appropriate for our film industry. So the CFI thing, even for me, it should not even exist. If it cannot exist to help the actors, it should not exist. But the sole purpose of any film industry is to promote actors.
Right.
The sole purpose. If you look at it across the globe, if you talk about Bollywood, it's focused on actors. You talk about even in America where we have the Hollywood stuff, it focuses on actors. But us Cameroonian, we are bringing politics. If you talk about ink, all of these things is not even a film body. It's just a group of political individuals trying to gain something, power, financial support from the government. You understand? The sole purpose of an organization for a filmmaker is to regulate film activities and how to subsidize actors or to encourage actors or to regulate conduct policies.
Okay, Akim, if I understand you so well, you mean that we should rather deal with guilt, right?
Yeah.
Now, should there be a body that oversees the functioning of this guild?
Of course, there should be a body that oversees the functioning of guilds.
And to my understanding, that's probably why the idea of CFI now comes in.
That's right. That's right. Which, if there is no body to supervise guilds, guilds are independent body that can also run themselves independently without anybody supervising them.
Right.
Because there's a hierarchy in every guild. And the hierarchy, they also have their policy, their rules, their bylaws, which they will follow. But if you look at it carefully, whether there's a CFI or no CFI, guilds can regulate the activity of its individuals.
Okay, Akim Macauley, granted that there is a CFI that kind of oversees the functioning of the guilds, yet everyone says guilds are supposed to be powerful, and guilds actually run the game in reality. How powerful can guilds be over that body which supposedly is overseeing their activities?
Before I started, I told you that the backbone of every industry are the actors, right? So if a guild exists, like the Actors Guild, if it does exist, they have a good structure and policy. It can work independently of anything called CFI because the backbone are them. So if they have that structure well in place, they can run the industry. Nigeria has but an Actors Guild. There's nothing like CFI in Nigeria. You understand?
Right.
There is nothing like CFI in Nigeria. So those guilds, and if you look at Nigeria, the Actors Guild is the most powerful guild. The Actors Guild transformed the entire industry.
But Akim Macauley, Nigeria has an Actors Guild, and if I'm not mistaken, they should have a Producers Guild, a Technicians Guild as well, right?
Good. But the most functional and the most recognized guild in America is the Actors Guild. You understand? Because those actors they keep in pace. Producers are like prostitutes. Directors are like prostitutes. But actors is a career that they maintain it. Everybody want to be a star, and they must be a star. And being a star as an actor in Nigeria, you're going to continue being a star. So it is very imperative that you remain in your guild. And most of them are very cooperative, understanding, and it's functional.
Okay, Akim Macauley, let me ask this question, which is inspired by what I've been observing. There are so many filmmakers who have refused to identify themselves with anything, even a guild. Now they work independently, and the reason is that there's a lot of confusion in this whole thing. Now the question I'm asking is that without the guilds, without any overseeing body, can film production in the country continue? Can movie makers keep on doing their movies and selling them, and the business continues?
I, as an individual, is what I've been doing, but I don't think it's good for a whole nation that is growing in the film industry like that. It is necessary to have the structure.
Right.
To understand. But unfortunately, those that are supposed to put the structure in place are so tired, because filmmakers are people that concentrate, they focus more on their job than going around and talking politics. That's why they have just, stay aside and allow the politician to be doing their politics. It's not that they are not interested. It's not that they don't want to. They are yearning for that. But it should be put in place in a way that will favor them, or will go in accordance with what they are producing or what they are doing. Because whatever is going on now has nothing to do with filmmaking. It has no identity of filmmaking. It has no identity of seven art. It is just a political quagmire.
Okay. Akim Macauley, let me ask this other question. What is the role of the state or a government in all of this?
The state has nothing to do with filmmaking in a country. It just has nothing to do with filmmaking in a country. That's why, like I said, it's a political strategy to collect money from the government. Nigeria state did not give them money did not boost their industry in any way.
Right.
And Hollywood came and met Nigerian government to recognize it, because it was even the third largest income revenue. It was bringing the third largest revenue in Nigeria. That's how the government started recognizing that industry.
Right. Okay. And
that's not policy to influence an industry, a film industry. State has cultural activities that identify those that promote culture, which filmmaking is part of those activities, to give subsidies. That's all.
Okay, Akim Macauley. Now, it is understandable with Nigeria because it is a federal system of government, and the federal government doesn't really get involved in everything. But with centralized Cameroon, it is a little different. And the tendency is that when there is confusion in a milieu, the government steps in to bring order. And that's probably what is happening in Cameroon. So, where do you see the role of the government in this?
The truth is that the government has not altered any words. All these things are individual, making all this. Amachutumuna has not voiced out any concern. Are you getting my point?
I'm getting your point, Akim Macauley.
The government wants to voice a complaint. A government will go to a national media or a newspaper a complaint about the confusion of the industry and demand for a restructurization of that industry, but it has not been done yet. It's only individual with personal interests meeting the minister and having personal conversation with the minister, and that has not been published yet.
Okay, Akim Macauley, I'm going to ask you the last question. We have other people who are itchy to talk on this topic. Now, like I said earlier on, there are people who do not belong at all, and they have vehemently said that they are not part of any of such structures. They are going to continue doing their movies independently. What can you say about these people, and do you think it is right to stay aloof completely?
At this time, trust me, and if I really have an advice to give, I will. But I'm myself confused because I may be joining those people later on, because we spent thousands of years talking about something that cannot be regulated. People put money in it, and you don't gain anything from it. And there are people that are bent just to destroy it. So what do? We are filmmakers. We are not politicians. So I will encourage any person who wants to go and, do their individual movies, and I will encourage them. Now, whenever the structure is put in place, whoever are talking or whoever are making this decision to put the structure in place, if the structure can fit to what filmmaking is, then we'll all follow.
Okay. Akim, thank you so much. So what you're saying is that once the house has been put in order, okay, people can now start coming in, without which those who say they don't belong, you have no problem with them.
No, I don't have a problem with them. I just encourage them to keep doing movies.
Okay.
Doing nice movies.
Akim Macauley, thank you. Thank you, Akim Macauley. We'll definitely come back to this topic. It's a sensitive one. Do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in Maryland.
Thank you, Mr. Ernest, and God bless you.
God bless you too.